Hello students, do you know about in your locality any courts are there? And if it is, then please mention in our comment box. Yes, Bindu Chaudhary is with you in your social science class. Today we are continuing our unit 3rd, the judiciary. And today this one is the starting point of chapter 5th judiciary part 1st. And when we are considering part 1st, then we will study what is the role of the judiciary in this one, and further on we will continue. And when we are considering about judiciary, we already read in our first chapter about constitution and how different steps are there. Legislature is there, legislative is there, and judiciary is there. So in today's chapter we are considering about judiciary. When we are considering about judiciary, it is the important role. What is the role of the judiciary in our country? Courts take decisions on a very large number of issues. All the conflicts and everything comes in the court, and court takes decision for this one, and many issues are there, and all the issues comes in the consideration of the court, and court takes decision against these one. They can decide that no teacher can beat a student, or about the sharing of river waters between states, or they can punish people for particular crimes also. So these are some issues, and courts had given their own decisions on this one, that no teacher can beat a student in the class. But when everything is going on okay, then no teacher is able to beat them. But if one thing is against the class, against the discipline of the class, then teacher must take some actions, whether not to beat the student, but take some actions for the purpose of the discipline. Okay, next one is you already studied in newspapers, and you searched in electronic media also about the river water issues between one state to the another state, and this one is only the court who take decisions on these issues. Next, when we are considering about the punishment of the peoples, whom for a particular crimes any people punished, who takes decision for the punishment? Only and only court takes this decision. Okay. So, broadly speaking, the work that the judiciary does can be divided into the following types. First one is what? When we are considering about dispute resolution. Resolution means the judicial system provides a mechanism for resolving disputes between citizens and the government. First one is citizen to citizen. Next one is what? Between citizen and the government. And next is between two state governments, and between the center and state governments. So these are the examples that whether any two citizens have some issues, then who solve out all these things? Any resolution is there, then the decisions taken by the court. Okay, and when there is a conflict between citizens and the government, then also court is the authority for taking decisions. When we studied about the river water issues between two states, then who take decisions? Court take decisions between this one. So any issue between two state governments, that will be resolved by whom? That will be resolved by the court. And when we are considering about the center and the state governments issue, this one also have the right only to court to take decision. So some dispute resolutions are also, and when we are considering about this one, we take these steps. Next is what? Judicial review. Judicial review is here as the final interpreter of the constitution. The judiciary also has the power to strike down particular laws passed by the parliament if it believes that these are a violence of the basic structure of the constitution. So judiciary has full power to strike down these types of laws passed by the parliament, and if any beliefs are there, then what's happened? Violation on the basis of the structure of the constitution, who takes review? Only judicial reviews are taken by the court, and this is called judicial review. So this term is totally in your mind, and you had clear concept about judicial review also. When we are considering about the laws, upholding the law and enforcement of the fundamental right. Yes, when we are enforcing fundamental rights, it is necessary for ourselves to consider about our fundamental rights as well as our fundamental duties also. Yes, if one will continue his or her duty only on that time, they consider about their rights also. So every citizen of India can approach Supreme Court or the High Court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated by the lower court or any other person also. So who had the right? Every citizen had the right to approach to whom? To approach to Supreme Court as well as to the High Court if they believe that only their rights have been violated by any person, violated by government or violated by any other fellow. When we are considering about this one, we will take example of class 7th here. For example, in the class 7th book, we read about Hakim Sheikh. Who is Hakim Sheikh? Hakim Sheikh, an agricultural laborer who fell down from a running train and injured himself, and whose condition got worse because several hospitals refused to admit him. What's the story of Hakim Sheikh? And this one is the court's room picture. So Hakim Sheikh, who was an agricultural laborer who fell down from the running train and injured himself, and on that condition many hospitals refused to admit him for the purpose of the treatment. So what's happened for this Hakim Sheikh, students? Hakim Sheikh went to the court, and on hearing his case, the Supreme Court ruled that Article 21, yes, Article 21 had many concepts, and one concept is what? Which provides every citizen the fundamental right to life. Article 21 express our right to life, and right to life also includes the right to health. So Mr. Sheikh had full right for the treatment in hospitals, but the hospitals refused. Then he went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court had given this decision under Article 21 that provides not only right to life but as well as right to health also. So it is considered by the Supreme Court, and what happened? It therefore directed the West Bengal government. Whose case is this one? This case is about West Bengal government. So West Bengal government to pay him compensation for the loss suffered as well as to come up with a blueprint for primary health care with particular reference to treatment of patients during an emergency. Paschim Banga Khet Mazdoor Samiti versus State of West Bengal, and this is decision took place in 1996. जब हम बात करते हैं बच्चों यहाँ पे पश्चिम बंगा खेत मजदूर समिति, तो यहाँ पे इनका वर्सेस किसके संग है? स्टेट ऑफ वेस्ट बंगाल. हेयर द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैड गिवन डिसीजन, एंड विद दिस डिसीजन दे डायरेक्टेड टू whom? They directed to West Bengal government to pay not only compensation to him but also to every citizen about the primary health care with particular reference to treatment of patients also. And you know that Chiranjeevi Yojanas and any other schemes are also by different states for the facilitating of the health issues of the citizens of their own states, and this one issued by our central government also. So this incident had already been discussed in our class 7th also, and with reference to this decision we will consider about the role of judiciary here also. Next important topic is here, and this topic includes one more thing, students. What is an independent judiciary? When we are considering about judiciary, it is important that we will discuss about independent judiciary also. Imagine a situation in which a powerful politician has encroached on land belonging to your family. Within this judicial system, the politician has the power to appoint and dismiss a judge from his office. This one is the incident and this one is the case, and in this case what is going on, एक बहुत ही पावरफुल पॉलिटिशियन है, उन्होंने क्या किया है, उन्होंने आपकी फैमिली से बिलोंग करते हुए कोई लैंड है उन्हें अक्रोच कर लिया है, एंड ऑन दैट टाइम दिस जुडिशियल सिस्टम हैड बीन देयर एंड द पॉलिटिशियन हैज़ द पावर टू अपॉइंट एंड डिसमिस the judge from his office or not. This one is the main thing which we will read here. When you take this case to court, the judge is clearly partial to the politician. बिल्कुल भी यहाँ पे कोई भी डिसीजन ऐसा नहीं है कि ओनली ही इज़ पावरफुल और ही इज़ पॉलिटिशियन देन जज विल टेक डिसीजन इन फेवर ऑफ हिम और हर, नॉट एट ऑल. द कंट्रोल दैट द पॉलिटिशियन होल्ड्स ओवर द जज डज नॉट अलाउ फॉर द जज टू टेक एन इंडिपेंडेंट डिसीजन. yes, many times these situations going on in reality also, that the every decision taken by judge is or are influenced by any powerful person, maybe of the politician or maybe of any other rich fellow. So all these things are really independent decisions. This lack of independence would force the judge to make all judgment in favor of the politician. So here, when judge was in favor of politician, every decision is taken by only one part's commitment, and this one is what? This one is the lack of independence, and this one would force the judge only to take all the judgments in favor of the politician, not in favor of the your family members, because you have no power at all. So this one is the reality, and every reality have some situations also. Although we often hear of rich and powerful people in India trying to influence the judicial process, the Indian Constitution protects against this kind of situation by providing for the independence of the judiciary. So here is the important role of the Constitution, because our Constitution always protects independence of the judiciary in many ways. So judge must not be influenced by any rich person, any politician fellow or any other fellow to take a decision in favor of them. So this one is the important part of our judiciary system, and it is important to be considered. One aspect of this independence is the separation of powers. Yes, we will discuss this one also, separation of power. This, as we read in our chapter first also, is a key feature of our Constitution. When we are considering about key feature of our Constitution, we already discussed in our chapter first about this one, that no judge influenced by any person, and they had full power to take their independence decisions. What this means here is that other branches of government, it means the legislature and the executive, cannot interfere in the work of the judiciary. So judiciary had totally different and important role in our India other than legislature and executive, because these legislature members, these executive members had no interference in the decisions in the work of the judiciary. So this concept is clear in your mind about the role of judiciary, important role of judiciary in our day-to-day life. And all the decisions are not influenced by any politician as well as not by any rich and powerful fellow. The courts are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. Yes, some cases you already read in your newspapers and electronic media also, students, about relating to the role of judiciary, because totally many politicians are also at present in jail, many powerful persons are also at present in jail. For what's the purpose? It all depends on the judiciary, because courts are not under the influence of government and they totally do not act on their behalf. On their behalf, it means on the behalf of the government. They had their own separate role. Separation of powers are there, and judiciary has totally different separate powers other than government, other than legislature, other than executive members, and judiciary is not influenced by all these things. Okay. For the above separation to work well, as the Supreme Court are appointed with very little interference from these other branches of the government. So here is totally a concept in our mind, students, about the separation to work, because Supreme Courts are appointed with very little, only some cases are there, but very little interference from the other branches of the government, as legislature, as executive. Totally different separation of powers are there. Once appointed to this office, it is also very difficult to remove a judge, because removing a judge is totally another process and it is not easy to any fellow, whether of government, whether of legislature, whether of executive or any other. It is not easy to remove a judge from his or her post. So it is the independence of the judiciary that allows the court to play a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power by the legislature and the executive. So here is totally a clear concept in your mind about the role of judiciary, about the role of the judges also, that these are totally separate and these people have their own central role in ensuring that there is no any misuse of power. Any misuse of power relating to whom? By the legislature as well as by the executive. So it is important that if you had any problems related to any citizen, related to court or related to any other thing, then you have full concept, totally free concept in your mind about the role of the judiciary here. It also plays a crucial role in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens, because anyone can approach the court if they believe that their rights have been violated, and if any poor fellow is there as a victim, then his or her have also right by the side of the court that court appoint advocate and public prosecutor to him or her favor, and all the payments are given by the court, not by the victim, who is victim or not. So their concept is clear in your mind about the role in protecting the fundamental rights, and if any person's fundamental rights are violated, then they have full power to approach to the court, to the judiciary systems. So this is the chapter reading session. We will continue our chapter in our next part also. So stay with us. Have a nice day.